I'm Klaus from Aarhus University, and this
George Marusteru from Hatch Atelier,
in
which is a makerspace, hackerspace in Bucharest.
yes in Romania, if you should be in any doubt. And I've been visiting George, and we agreed that we should talk a bit about the atelier and some recent events down there in Romania. So, George,
Okay,
what is Hatch Atelier?
okay. Hatch Atelier is a makerspace. We actually started more as a hackerspace, which means it was mostly initially about coding and computers, and now we're expanding into fabrication as quickly as possible. It's an NGO, so it's not for profit. It's more of the principle is to give access, uh, as most spaces were initially. It's the older culture that kind of got started in Germany, um, and there are a few starting to pop up in Romania now. Some are also NGOs, some are businesses, but as long as there's access to equipment and technology and knowledge, I think it's all good either way. So
Okay,
yeah, that's what it is.
okay.
We'll see what it will become.
Ah, so there's a future as well that you don't quite know.
You never really know. Most spaces very much reflect the members that are there. So if more people that are artistic come in, then we're probably going to expand towards art studio kind of version. If more people that are engineers come in, then we're probably going to keep expanding towards fabrication. Hopefully one day we'll be able to encompass it all.
Aha, okay. Both sides, so to speak.
Yeah, anything that involves creativity, making anything, whether it's codes, computers, art, anything. Blacksmithing, why not? Uh, why not a cooking makerspace?
Yeah, why not?
Make a huge kitchen in it and add some technology, some tools, some tricks and tips, as
Okay,
it were. Why not?
why not? Okay. Uh, George, hatch means something, right?
Yes.
What does it mean?
The first time, the first iteration, um, a few people got together and we were trying to decide what name to give it. And this is James's baby, as it were, and it just clicked with everybody. It's a recursive acronym, which means the first word from which it's built is also the final acronym. So, and it's a very classical, old school uh, approach, as in MIT hacker approach. Like, for example, Wine is a program in Linux, which stands for Wine is not an emulator. Same way, Hatch stands for Hatch are truly crazy hackers.
Okay, really, truly crazy hackers.
Are truly crazy hackers.
Truly
Hatch.
hackers.
Because we figured we have to be a bit crazy to try to bring an NGO approach to a place that didn't even have the term. No, nobody knew about makerspaces, hackerspaces, or anything like that when
That's
we
why you
got
call it
started.
atelier, right?
And that's also why we called it Atelier, because it's Romanian and it's a bit more approachable until the terms make sense.
George, you're quite into security, aren't you?
Computer security, yes, and security in general, because people are still people. You should try and trust, but make sure you have some options in case that trust is not respected. Because yeah, the world is the way it is. And
I'm asking because you, on your website, you offer a course in
yes,
using Tor.
yes.
Could you explain what Tor is?
Okay, Tor stands for the onion router, and it's a few things. For one, it's a way. It's a bit hard to explain, but we'll go very simple. It's a way to increase your security, privacy, anonymity if you really want to. Because in past Snowden days, you probably should. And the, a lot of people don't understand this. They think, oh, but you have something to hide. And it's not the point. The point is you have a right to privacy and you have a right to secret of correspondence. I'm not exactly sure how it's said in English. So a lot of people have died for those rights in the past. So maybe exercise them a bit more. Even if you don't have anything to hide, it's not about hiding. It's about keeping certain things private. Simple as that.
You showed me a few days ago a saying
Oh yeah.
on the internet.
Yes, it's one of my favorite ones.
Yes, could you please say it?
Be the change you want to see in the world. That's from Gandhi. Very wise man. Maybe
the change you want to see
in the world. Not at his level, but you know.
Okay. Could one say that that could be a saying for a makerspace?
That could be a saying for a makerspace. We have, for example, it's not our motto necessarily, but we use more like guidelines rather than specific rules. And the first one is be excellent to each other. And if somebody's not doing, I try to remember them. You know, what was the first rule? Come on, try, guys, try. It's not always easy, but try.
George, I arrived in Bucharest in the midst of cold and snow, and all of a sudden something happened in the streets of Bucharest.
Oh yeah, there was a huge protest. Well, there were multiple days of protest because the politicians in our country decided to make a law that makes it easier for them to abuse their power, to dilapidate funds, to do a lot of things like that. And people this time around, for the first time in my entire life, were not having it anymore. It wasn't violent or anything. It was peaceful. It was almost like a carnival feeling. Mm-hmm. And I love that. It was the day I truly felt proud to be Romanian because of them. And because I also went there. And yeah.
When we were meeting the last time, one of our friends used the term the third space, which was a space in between. It can mean a lot of things, but when we talked about it, it was like a space outside school or outside institutions, a space where you could do whatever you wanted, whenever you wanted to.
Yes.
Isn't that what you're talking about? I remember also we had a conversation about the school system, that you actually were quite dissatisfied with how the school system was. You wanted to change in another direction.
Yeah, but it's not necessarily outside, or alternative to, but complementary to. It's kind of clear for me, might not be, or maybe clear is a strong word. It is my opinion, might be wrong, might not, that the educational system at large, especially in Romania, has not really changed its core assumptions. It's kind of stayed the same since the industrial age. And this was something I actually got from somebody, this information just like this.
Yeah.
So I'm kind of repeating it. It's not necessarily an original idea, but it's a good way of thinking about it, in the sense that it still has the same assumptions, that information is hard to find, hard to put together, hard to organize. It still is kind of hard to organize sometimes, but not the same way it was back then.
Okay.
In a way, we should be moving towards more just-in-time education and making people feel empowered, have access to resources, because they will, past a certain point, just knowing everything just in case education, the way it's kind of made in schools now, is neither necessary nor useful, nor does it work well, because people forget things they don't use or are not interested in. The same way they really learn things when it's interesting, when it's fun, when also sharing is a lot about that, because you want to show off is a bad word, but you want to show what you have created. This is, I made this.
Yeah.
So at large, I think we should have a lot more open creative spaces.
George, now it's getting really deep, right?
Yeah, a bit deep.
What's the purpose of a makerspace? That's what we're talking about. I mean, you remember we had a conversation, your friend and I, on makerspaces during that week when everything was turned upside down.
Yeah.
And I actually asked you if
Mostly access.
yes,
because okay, discovering the internet as a kid literally blew my mind, because suddenly there was access to all sorts of information and things that I didn't even knew existed. In the beginning, before Google, in that age where you didn't really have a lot of search engines, and the ones that did took forever, especially on the dial-up connection, to look through stuff. We used to have our own pieces of paper, and we'd share links. Like, I found this website. I found this website. This is interesting. I found this one. And a lot of things that I've learned, I haven't learned in school. I've learned them just with the computer, internet, and look it up. Look it up. And eventually, you might not get it the first time. Have to read some more. You need to find new distinctions. You need to understand the terms first. But having access to technology, to other people that are also creative and are open to sharing their knowledge, having a place where you can do this is immensely empowering.
when I watched on television the demonstrations, I started thinking, connecting your work and our work in the project, the idea of the makerspace. And I remember I asked you something like this: could this idea of protest come from a makerspace?
It could, but it's not from the makerspace, it's maybe from the people there. In Germany, there's hackerspaces that, well, while they're not directly political, some of the members are in various ways, especially when it comes to privacy, to human rights. So it's about the people. That space just is an environment where you can hang out. But it's not necessarily, ours specifically is apolitical. We won't ever do organized protest movements or anything like that through the space. But people there could decide they also want to be political, so they can create something new that has a political agenda. Why not? But let's keep it a bit separate. That's why we said no, secular and non-discriminatory and not political, our space in itself as an organization. The people, however, they are political, because everything is in one way or another political. It's the way you design the biggest system in use, governments.
But could a makerspace be an agent of change? I mean, where change starts.
If you need to put a place, a specific spot, yeah, it could be. But still, the people that are the agents. It's just an environment where they meet and something clicks. But it could be.
So it's more a mindset, is it?
It's more a mindset than it is a physical space. That's irrelevant at the end of the day for this kind of a change.